Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with Google Cloud. My name is Lorin Price, and I'm a networking specialist customer engineer at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How do I guard internet egress traffic with Cloud Firewall and Cloud NAT? Cloud Firewall provides a fully distributed, cloud-native, stateful inspection firewall service that scales inherently, independent of your networking architecture. Cloud Firewall provides micro-segmentation for east-west and north-south patterns, intra-subnet, across multiple VPCs or orgs, with a granular security control and easy insertion with no network architecture change required. Network Firewall policy acts as a container for firewall rules and is enforced at the VPC level. Network Firewall policies can be global or regional. With the introduction of Network Firewall policies comes the use of tags, a key value pair defined at the organization or project level of the resource hierarchy. Such a tag contains an IAM access control that specifies who can do what on the tag. Additionally, there is support for address groups, Google Cloud Threat Intelligence, FQDN objects, and geolocation objects. Before we jump into the demo, let's review what has already been deployed in the environment. A VPC is deployed with a single subnet in the US Central 1 region. 2 private instances and a Cloud NAT are hosted in the region. One instance has the tag server tag, and the other has the tag add server tag to be used for firewall policy rule association. During the demo, we'll create the network firewall policy. We'll add a firewall rule that allows SSH traffic from identity-aware proxy on both instances. We'll then add a firewall rule that restricts all egress on the instance with the add server tag with a lower priority. And then we'll add another firewall rule that only allows egress to FQDNs for system updates and ads.google.com on the instance with the add server tag as well with the higher priority. We'll then add a firewall rule that blocks egress to embargoed countries, known malicious IPs, and Tor exit nodes on the instance with the server tag. Finally, we'll associate the network firewall policy to the VPC network, and we'll run a couple tests. Now that we're in the Cloud Console, let's create a firewall policy. We'll name this policy Firewall VPC Policy, and we'll keep it as a global deployment scope. For our first rule, we will create a rule that allows SSH from IAP. We will make sure to turn on firewall logs, and for the purposes of this demo, we'll target all instances in the network. We'll drop in our IAP CIDR, and we will only allow TCP on port 22 for this rule. Our next rule is to block all egress from our ad server. So we'll change the direction and action for this rule. And we also need to target the secured tag that is specific to the ad server. Our IP ranges will be all traffic. And we'll keep all ports and protocols denied. Next, we will create a higher priority rule that allows only egress to update FQDNs and ads.google.com. So we'll egress allow, turn on our logs, and we need to target the same secure tag. We will grab the FQDNs that we would like to target and drop them in. And we'll allow all protocols and ports. Now, the next firewall rule that we wanted to create was a rule that blocks egress to embargoed countries, known malicious IPs, and Tor exit nodes, specifically for the instance with the server tag. But when you create a firewall rule policy, specifically in the console, a number of rules are pre-generated for you, and you'll find that the rules that we wanted to create are partially already here, additionally for Ingress as well. However, we are missing egress to Tor exit nodes and embargoed countries, specifically for our instance with the server tag. So we're going to go ahead and add one more rule. And we'll change egress deny. And this time we want to target the instance with the secure tag of server tag. Now for this, we will be targeting the Tor exit nodes, and we'll also want to go ahead and drop in the geolocations that we're targeting for the embargoed countries. So we'll pick a few countries here. And we will deny all ports and protocols. So now that we've created all of the rules that we targeted, we will then associate the policy to a VPC network. The firewall VPC is the VPC that we are specifically looking at for this demo. And we will create the firewall policy association. So our firewall policy creation and association is now complete, and if you scroll down on the firewall policy page, you will find all of the information about the firewall policy that was just created. But now let's jump over to Compute Engine and run a few tests to verify some of the firewall rules that we created. So we'll grab the command to SSH into the ad server, and we will do that via the gcloud cloud shell. So based off of the firewall rules that we created, for the ad server, we have blocked all egress traffic with the exception of a few sites and ads.google.com. So if we try and curl, for example, bigquery.googleapis.com, this should not work. And of course it does not. But now let's try and curl that ads.google.com FQDN that we cleared egress for. And of course, it does work. So let's exit here and jump into the other server that we have created. Now, we did not put any egress firewall rules on this server with the exception of blocking egress to Tor exit nodes and embargoed countries. So if we try to curl the same BigQuery API from this server, we should have a success. And of course we do. So I hope that gave you a good example of some simple firewall rules that are really effective for any type of environment that you have in Google Cloud. Thanks for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.